just like Diddy, Epstein didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing.
This wasn't just another broadcast moment. This was a signal. The moment Candace Owens sat down, she made one thing crystal clear. Something has quietly shifted across Hollywood. Ever since the Epstein scandal crawled back into public conversation, the entertainment world has been acting differently. The loud voices got quieter, the confident faces became harder to find, and the ones who used to chase every camera, they're suddenly nowhere to be seen. Candace wasn't pointing fingers, she was pointing at a pattern.
The Epstein case has been officially closed, my friends. He actually didn't even have a client list that he used for blackmail.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability.
Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out my little Men in Black tool, and just wipe your memory real quick. Phew. Phew. She didn't say any of that. Phew.
Sorry.
The FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
I've got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
There you have it, you guys. That is transparency. That's transparency. I mean, I don't know what more you want from your government. Do you feel like they're laughing at us? I feel like they're laughing at us. We are definitely in clown world. I'm not a huge Elon Musk fan because I think he plays a role in the coming AI system of controlling global affairs. But he did nail it with this clown meme tweet. I will say that. We will release the Epstein list. We just need more time. The Epstein list is on my desk. There is no Epstein list. Interestingly enough, though, I was contacted by someone, a certain someone. For those of you who enjoyed my Brigitte series, Xavier Poussard has been working quite diligently over the last couple of years, not just on the story of Brigitte Macron and this weird ring that happens in France, but also that investigation brought him to Jeffrey Epstein. Because Jeffrey Epstein, as Ghislaine Maxwell, she was French as well, Mossad, and the investigation of Brigitte brought him to Jeffrey Epstein, and he said to me, Candace, would you want to do a series on Epstein? He asked me this about 2 months ago. And what I heard was, would you like to die? Would you like to die? Because that's kind of where, do you want to play a game sort of a thing? And maybe where our government, with all of their resources, is failing, I don't know, maybe it will be up to us. So what can I say, guys? Stay tuned.
And then came the list, or rather, the disappearing list. First, it existed. Then it didn't. Then it was on the desk. Then the desk was apparently empty. Candace walked her audience through every twist and turn of this story, the promises, the backtracking, the carefully worded non-answers. And while government officials were busy redefining what transparency means, Candace had already made up her mind. The public wasn't getting answers, they were getting theater. And she wasn't afraid to say it out loud. We are being laughed at.
She went out there and claimed there were tens of thousands of hours of tape. There are, by the way, but they are child pornography. The reason the FBI is not releasing them is because those tapes do not include underage people with third parties on Epstein Island. That is not what the tapes are. Okay, I also have sources in the federal government who are covering this stuff and have seen the documents. Okay, those tapes are just child porn. That's all. That's what they are. That's why the FBI is not releasing them. Okay, as far as the Epstein list, what I have been told by my sources is that there is no Epstein list, that basically there's a black book of Jeffrey Epstein contacts. And the vast majority of those contacts are already out there publicly. That's why you know names like Prince Andrew or Alan Dershowitz or some of the names that have been mentioned here. Those contacts, there is no evidence, according to the DOJ and the FBI, and again, that's public, there's no evidence that any of those third parties were having girls trafficked to them. And that is not evidence that was made clear, certainly, to the DOJ or the FBI. Here is Tucker then asserting that it was actually Mossad. Again, without evidence, not a shock. Of course, this is where Tucker was going. This has become the hot speculation on the internet, is without evidence. You say that Mossad was running Jeffrey Epstein. When I say without evidence, I mean without evidence. Naftali Bennett, the former Israeli prime minister, said, quote, "As a former Israeli prime minister, with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending they know things they don't." And in fact, I followed up with the former Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, and what he told me is that Mossad has not been active in the United States against the United States since the Jonathan Pollard scandal of 1987, when a U.S. Army contractor who's actually working for the Navy revealed classified information to the Israeli government. He was prosecuted by the United States government and ended up in prison.
I didn't watch this whole clip. This is
years.
Hilarious.
And so Israel since then has not spied on the United States with Mossad.
Okay, guys. Well, there you have it. It's just, I don't know how he does it with a straight face. That is like, well, anyway, guys, there's millions of females, but don't even it's like, Mossad hasn't been doing nothing. I know it seems weird because BB's like always here or whatever, and we seem to be doing their bidding everywhere. But the Mossad just said in the United States, they were like, I'm a chill. And they haven't done a single thing here at all. I know it might look that way. Miriam Adel said she doesn't even know their name. She doesn't know who they are, actually. She's doing her thing and she's giving Trump $200 million, but it ain't got nothing to do with the Mossad. So I just wanted to bring you that stunning report from Ben Shapiro. Thank you for clarifying, Benjamin.
What? 21 cars? What? They could have gave me a car.
Now the story takes a darker turn. The tapes exist, that much seems certain. But what's on them, who's involved, and why they're being kept locked away, that's where the answers start getting complicated. Candace broke down the narrative piece by piece. The FBI's position, the DOJ's statements, Tucker Carlson's theories, the former Israeli prime minister's denial. Layer after layer of claim and counterclaim. And through all of it, one uncomfortable question kept surfacing. If there's truly nothing to hide, why does every door keep closing?
The emails drop, and Jeffrey Epstein, who worked on behalf of the Rothschilds, according to him, he wrote that in an email, the Rothschilds, who credit themselves with having created which nation state? Oh, right, Israel. Israel, the same nation state that is having a bunch of women say that they were ritualistically abused in a forest by rabbis. That's happening in the Knesset right now, that nation state, saying that they were 3-4 years old when this happened. He's saying, those are my bosses, the Rothschilds. And here is a brief, but by no means an extensive coverage, video that was put together by, I assume this guy must be Goy, right? Goy? Goy, TikToker, Contrarian put this together. Take a listen.
Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents. Here he is discussing with Roger Schank, a Jewish American academic and hedge fund worker, saying Jews create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the Goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be 100% Jewish. He says no, they'll have Goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
Said that their operation was motivated by Jewish supremacy.
Anybody gonna say that that's not real anymore?
This is where the story stopped being just about one man. The newly released emails pointed somewhere far bigger, to networks, to money, to power structures that stretch across continents. Candace didn't shy away from what was in those documents: names, conversations, financial connections, the kind of details that don't fit neatly into a news headline. And as more of this information spilled into the public eye, one thing became impossible to ignore. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't operating alone. He was operating inside a system, and that system had very powerful friends.
I've got some news. Emmanuel Macron is gay. Why are you gay, Emmanuel Macron? When I said it, it was a conspiracy. Now these Epstein emails are getting released and people are looking up, and by people I mean the mainstream media. They're willing to accept that maybe I was telling the truth. He's also married to a dude because he's gay, so that makes sense. But I guess we'll wait for the next email dump before the reliably dishonest press is prepared to admit that part too. And this text chain that is happening, they are discussing Emmanuel Macron's boyfriend. It is Epstein, and I believe in other chats, he's talking with Steve Bannon, and this says, along with some other tidbits, I was shown a photo of Macron's boyfriend. Hypocrisy. There are more emails referencing the fact that Emmanuel Macron is gay. And I think the biggest clue is that he married a dude. But apparently now people are willing to accept that Emmanuel Macron is not a straight Catholic man by any stretch of an imagination. No, in fact, I know his trigger. His trigger is MK Ultra. And his trigger is anybody that discusses his wife, and there's something there, okay? Now that we are kind of graduating into the Epstein files as a society, you can start to separate that all of these facts from fiction, recognize that the media is out there to consistently lie and to protect the elites. They have money, they have power, they do not have the truth on their side. And many of these things that you may have thought were conspiracies, things that I grew up thinking were conspiracies, are so obviously not conspiracies at all. It's getting interesting, but we can put that as another thing that I was right about. Unfortunately, I don't want to be right about these things sometimes, but when it came to Emmanuel Macron, yeah, that's been pretty obvious. Any woman looks at Brigitte and just goes, nah, nope, something not right there.
And finally, Candace circled back to the bigger picture. Conspiracy theories are becoming confirmed realities. The things people were mocked for saying 5 years ago are now showing up in official documents. Candace looked straight at her audience and said what many were already thinking. The media didn't just miss this story, they chose to miss it. The elites don't have the truth on their side, but they have money, influence, and an army of journalists willing to look the other way. The Epstein files aren't just about one man's crimes. They're about who knew, who protected him, and who is still being protected right now. The curtain is being pulled back, and what's behind it is changing everything. If you made it this far, you already know this story is just getting started. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the next video goes even deeper. Don't miss it.